This is Providence Television International, the game changer.
Welcome to the program Sports in the News on Providence Television International. I am Ugbebo Ikekwa. With me in the studio is Dr. Emmanuel Egariva. You're welcome.
Well, thank you very much. I suppose it's a special outing. Outing in the sense that we're going to be talking about that should be your responsibility, really. But let me just quickly say that we'll look at the nitty-gritty of the FIFA decision.
And actually, yes, it is a special program. As at Monday, everybody, Nigerians and sports lovers across the world, were expecting a verdict from FIFA as regards the Nigeria-Congo issue, who is actually qualified to go for the World Cup.
Well, I don't think they want to be pressured into taking a decision that will not stand the test of time. Don't forget that FIFA is an arm of the United Nations, okay? And they are the world governing body of football. So everything that is going to come out of FIFA should stand the test of time. And I do know that there have been pressure points from the people in Congo and also Nigerians. They want their team to represent their individual country in March, at the World Cup. But, I mean, this match was played last year, for example, and till now we have not had the results of the petition laid by Nigeria. You might say it is strange because everybody is on edge. The Congolese and Nigerians, we are all on edge as to what is going to happen, who is going to represent, well, as part of representatives from Africa.
Yes.
Right. So Nigeria, it's a huge country. I mean, in terms of football, it's just gotten some ranking on the upper swing. It's part of the loss in Morocco, for instance. So, and it's a sports-loving country. I mean, Nigerians are crazy about football, if you know that. Now, what is the crux of the matter? 3 players were involved in all of this. Nigeria laid a complaint that 3 players from Congo had dual nationality. Yes. And by that, they are supposed to be excluded from the match against Nigeria, which is valid. If they discover that, if FIFA discovers that, then that means they will be disqualified automatically. Now, who are the 3 players, for instance? Let us remind our viewers that one is Wan Bissaka, this young man who played in West Ham, for instance. Actually, all of them, the 3 of them played in England. Axel Twambeze, he plays for Burnley, and Tefi Marididi plays for Leicester City, also in Britain. So, but Congo has also accused Nigeria of trying to pass through the back door. And so why didn't you play the game on the field of play? I mean, you remember the one by penalties shootout? Yes. I think 4-3, and that was the end. But Nigeria woke up after all to say that, no, these players were not qualified. And Chile, the Nigerian coach, said on 1 or 2 occasions that the Congolese were involved in voodoo. Yes, I hope we have the picture out there. They were involved in voodoo, meaning that there were some offhand tactics, you know, and things like that. For people who believe there's really voodoo in football, yes. I mean, not everybody believes that. So this is the crux of the matter. And I'm hoping that FIFA will live up to its billing. I remember the days of Joe Havelange, the Brazilian, who was president of FIFA from 1974 to 1988. If he were the one on board now, I'm sure this kind of thing would not be happening because he was quite steadfast. He was very experienced president of FIFA. I mean, for instance, I've covered a lot of World Cup tournaments. Yes, starting from 1982, that iconic World Cup in Spain, between, I remember the particular match between Italy and Brazil, when you had the likes of Celso, the likes of Socrates Jr., and all of that. Very iconic match. I perhaps the best in the series. I still remember vividly. So we're coming from time past, you know, and you may also ask me why it is important for certain clubs or for certain teams to be in the tournament. The big teams draw the biggest crowds, and that's good for FIFA. They will get more money, of course, from gate takings and endorsements. Remember, I can't remember the particular year now, when Brazil lost to Germany in a particular World Cup. I think by 7-1 or something. And that was the end of the tournament. Brazil was out, and that was the end. I mean, people were no longer going to the stadium.
Okay, so actually, this actually exists in football. The big names draw the larger crowd.
Of course, yes. I mean, if you have a World Cup tournament without Brazil, without Argentina, without Germany, without Italy, these are the big boys. They are the big teams in world football. And if they are not there, there's a big comma. And FIFA usually is not too happy about that.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. We'll come back to the verdicts. But just like the individuals from the Democratic Republic of Congo, they came out to say that Nigerians want to pass through the back door. Does it have to do with the level of preparation? Why do we now have to go through technicalities to qualify for the World Cup?
Yeah, that's why a lot of players, I mean, old players who have donned the shirts of the national colors of this country were saying that why did we go through the penalty shootout? We ought to have won the match outright, okay? Because after the penalty shootout, a lot of things will now play up, okay? And Chile, the coach, I don't know where I got the idea from that they were playing under voodoo, you know, and things like that. So, but yes, that's right. I mean, for those, the people who are talking about this, I think they're right in some sense, that we didn't have to go through technicalities. We needed to win outright. But football is, sometimes it's not mathematics. Okay? You prepare so well and something happens at the end. That's why some people will say that the better side does not always win. But the argument is, why shouldn't the better side win? I mean, if the other side loses on penalty, it means that the better side has won. Okay, because you ought to have prepared for penalty shootout. Yeah, because actually some countries, I do know that, they have coaches. Yeah, you have the head coach over there, but they also have specialists who teach the goalkeepers how to stand in the gap when it comes to penalty shootout. They also teach players, individual players, how to take penalty shots, okay? But sometimes the best players can lose penalties. Yes, exactly. Messi has lost many times, Ronaldo has lost many times, so you can't blame them, because at that point in time, when it's penalty shootout, it is you and the ball, between you and the ball and the goalkeeper. Nothing else matters. Exactly. So that's why it's important, yes.
All right, still on preparation for the World Cup. I remember that Nigeria, we had about like 2-3 coaches before we had Chile. And that actually led to the state that we found ourselves in, not qualifying on time because of so many draws that we had. And so what do you think the NFF should do about preparations for such major events?
I've often said it, even in my commentaries days, I've often said I still hold on strongly to that belief that we need to start the World Cup. I mean, if we lose out in a World Cup tournament, I mean, on the zonal, even at the World Cup center stage, once you lose out, the next day you are preparing for the next tournament. I mean, just 4 years down the road, okay? But we, in this part of the world, we think that, oh, it's a long time. So we start, you know, this fire brigade thing, and it's about a year or so, we start preparing. The big teams around the world, they start preparing immediately after the World Cup loss, okay? So, but that's our undoing, apparently, and it's not good for us. A lot of experts have talked about this. I have also talked about it on many sports programs, and I think that, yes, we need to do better when it comes to issues such as preparation. And by the way, we need to psych up the players. We owe players allowances, even before they go to World Cup matches. We owe them allowances. You know, at a point in time, the boys, the Eagles, didn't want to go.
That's true.
Yes.
2 days to a match.
To the match.
Yes, exactly.
Yes, and we had to plead, and the minister, whoever, had to quickly say that, yes, your money is ready. And why should that be anyway? I mean, these boys should be, I'm not saying that they should be pampered, but they should be paid what is due them, okay? Then training facilities. We don't have training facilities in this country. My suggestion would be that before the World Cup, once we qualify at the zonal level, we'll go out. That's why the FIFA created room for international friendlies, for instance. But we can also plan friendlies on our own and expose the boys to stadium facilities around the world that are top-notch. Which are the stadium facilities we have in Nigeria? No, tell me. We don't have them, and we don't have good policies for football in this country. Yes. Sometimes most times actually, we put a square peg in a round hole. How does it work? How does it fit?
Exactly.
Yes. I remember the days of people like Okochime when he was FIFA or rather NFA chairman.
Yes.
Well, Nigeria was doing very well. It was doing very well. And yes, why not? But these days, you're never too sure until Nigeria wins a match. You can tell sometimes Nigeria is going to a match and you can tell, oh, Nigeria is going to win this match because of the level of preparation, because of the psychological effect it has on the players, individual players. Okay? So those are the things that matter.
All right, coming back to the verdict, there are some schools of thought who believe that FIFA might have been compromised. Will FIFA ever be able to come down to that level of being compromised?
As I said, it's a serious organization, the governing body for football in the world. But compromise is not a word I like to use, really. I mean, I'm not comfortable with compromise because that would mean doing things that are outlandish, strange, and untoward. But yes, people are vulnerable to certain things.
Okay.
And, dollars rolling here and there, and people cannot control their emotions. So to that extent, you may say, yes, why not? But FIFA is a technical arm of the United Nations, technical in the sense that it governs football, and they won't allow anything to damage their reputation.
Okay.
That much I know. The delay, well, I just hope that at the time people are watching this, the result will have been given. But if not, then people will have time, they have reason to worry. Because it was, I mean, FIFA said it was going to deliver on Monday.
On Monday, yes.
Tuesday, for instance. So, but yes, why not? People are vulnerable to certain things. They're even susceptible. Okay, so you can't rule that out completely. All
right, and just before we go, no Nigerian in the last CAF competition was a referee in that competition. What does that tell of Nigerian football?
It rubs off very badly, very, very badly. In fact, it's a shame that the Nigerian Referee Association could not respond to that. Of course, there are no reason to respond because it was the truth. Now, they are looking at Nigerian referees as being vulnerable, to use that word again. To say, I mean, look at what is happening at local league, for instance, where referees are part of the machinery of cheating and things like that. And nobody will take such people up into major tournaments. It's a shame, really, and I didn't feel happy about it as a Nigerian, that people could come from Congo, they will come from Tunisia, they will come from Morocco and all that. But Nigeria was not there. At all. It's unfortunate. And I think that's a big job for the Nigerian Referees Association. We have had referees who have been graded by FIFA, FIFA graded referee in this country. For example, many of them, I guess some have passed on, and they were graded, okay? Who learned the ropes from the league, our national league, and they were graded, FIFA graded referees, grade 1 in refereeing. So where do we stand today? Even though we have them, but their performances are still below standards. Yes.
And on this note, I want to say,
and that is why, for instance, I won't be surprised. Of course, naturally it will happen that you won't have any Nigerian at the World Cup in Mexico and
exactly.
Yes, in the United States.
We've not been able to represent in Africa.
African zone. Except a miracle happens. But I would love a day when we'll have maybe 2-3 referees from Nigeria at the tournament, at the World Cup tournament. It's a big tournament. It's the biggest sports meet in the whole world, and it happens once in 4 years. So what that means is that for a whole 4 years, we were not able to prepare adequately for this kind of eventuality.
And so on this note, I want to say, what's your passing shot?
My passing shot is, look, let us develop football from the lowest rung. Yes, there are many great potentials in this country, great players, budding stars. But I mean, we're talking about this young man the other day, Awuna plays in Galatasaray. Yes, Osimhen. Yes. Osimhen grew up in on the streets of Lagos. Okay, we have had players who grew up in that kind of environment. They were picked by by coaches, and they got the right exposure. So we must start to build academies. Yes, we must build academies right from the infancy stage. There are many. There's a boy now, for instance, in Benin. He's been troubling me in the last 3-4 weeks. He wants to play for Bendel Insurance, and I'm going to have to talk to the coach. That boy has a natural talent, has natural potentials. He's passionate about the game. Such a boy cannot be left to waste away. That's just You may say inconsequential example, but it's there. So we need to build facilities. We need to build potentials in the right direction. Let us bring the championship like the academicals back. Okay. In those days, we had Midwest academicals. I mean, from there you have people like Osia in academicals. So many players at the secondary school level. Okay, so from there you could pick. Okay. Thompson Osia, I just mentioned, there is Erige, for instance, I play for academicals here in this part of the country, and there are so many. So very many that this country has produced from that stage. Let us go back to the drawing table and plan out how we can do it. We really, really can do it if the authorities know what they are doing. And coupled with all of that, let us expose our coaches. Okay. I hate the idea of bringing foreign coaches to this country. I mean, we have coaches who can do well. We have coaches, if only you can give them the right direction and the right mental attitude. We have good coaches in this country. I'm in support of that. Okay. You bring one Chile, tomorrow you bring Puwanda, you bring all sorts of people. Why? Why do they do that? Because you are going to pay them in foreign currency. And there are some underpinnings. If you know what I'm talking about. Much
as I've never been an advocate for him, but we have a very good coach in the person of Aguavoin.
Yeah, but it's a local coach.
And that's exactly what we are talking about.
Yeah, it's a local coach, but he may have the potentials. Yes, expose them to leading countries in football. I mean, Brazil, Germany, for instance. Zealand, in those days, the late Zealand, may so rest in peace, was in Germany. Okay? He even had a degree in football. La BSN, I think, was in Germany too. We can expose them to this international environment. Okay. And when they come back, they impart knowledge. Okay? So let's forget politics. Let us do it the way it should be done.
All right. Thank you so much, sir, for coming, for being in the studio. And on this note, I want to say, as the game changer, as soon as we get an update on the verdict from FIFA, I promise you that Providence Television International will be the first to let you know. Thanks for watching. Please stay tuned.